from the BBC World Service in association with ABC and All India Radio. This is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell in London and I'm making sure that I get out in the outdoors, in the fresh air as much as possible at the moment. It's the best way to be doing any activities in these COVID times, which is quite good for me because I love walking, I love hiking, cycling, getting out doing a bit of horse riding as well. But still lots going on cricket-wise. We're looking after the Cricket Writers Club end-of-season awards at the moment and organising those. So even though the playing of the cricket season has come to an end here, there's still plenty happening in the cricket world.
Well, there's a little bit of cricket happening here. In fact, a little while ago, the New South Wales team took a flight to their bubble in Adelaide because everyone's getting concerned again about closure of borders. There's been another outbreak with the pandemic. So this little uncertainty that goes on is still making us a bit jittery as we start to think about the Indian series, and we hear that there are going to be some one-dayers at the end of November before tests, day-night Adelaide, then Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane. So it's looking okay, but you have a little prayer every now and then that there won't be another reoccurrence of this awful pandemic. So let's look on the bright side, and the sun is certainly shining.
Well, I second all of what you say, Jim. Hello, this is Charu Sharma from Bangalore for All India Radio, and I'm also feeling very buoyant for no good reason, because Bangalore now, has the distinction. Well, I suppose it's just a terrible distinction to have about being the Indian city with the largest number of positive COVID cases on a daily basis, over 5,000 apparently. So that's a very large number, and yet, if you go out, every business is open. There's a lot of dense traffic that one has to deal with, and the golf course is full. So who wonders what's going on here? Because people need to be apprehensive, but everybody's out and about. Fortunately, though, when people are home in the evening, there is a lot of cricket to watch with, not in India, though, but in the UAE, the IPL, right in the middle of lots of terrific action.
Staying distanced on the golf course, Charu, that's your number one aim. I'm so glad that you're buoyant regardless, because I think that's sort of the attitude that we've all got to have somehow, is staying positive, because yes, here in the UK, cases rising and different lockdown rules affecting different parts of the country. So we're all just having to be positive and think about what we can do rather than what we can't do at the moment, and do it all safely.
Alison, though, the word positive is the old normal. We can't use that anymore because it has other connotations.
Yes, we can. Well, yeah, I see what you mean with the testing. We want a negative, positive. Anyway, yes. Well, let's start with something that's been incredibly positive in the Australian cricket scene, and that is the all-conquering Australian women's team, because they beat New Zealand comfortably in the third and final one-day international of their Rose Bowl series. The win seeing them equal the world record of 21 consecutive ODI victories, a run that was put together by Ricky Ponting's Australian men's team back in 2003. Now, it's been fully 3 years since the Southern Stars last lost a one-day international, and that was against England at Coffs Harbour back in October 2017. Their latest conquest was by a whopping 232 runs, and that included 96 runs off the bat of stand-in captain Rachel Haynes.
It hasn't been something we've spoken a lot about as a group, but definitely we're aware of the attention that it's been getting externally. I think it's probably going to be one of those things that, we reflect back on and are really proud of the achievement. And it's been across the course of a few years now. And I think, something like 20-odd players have been a part of that and contributed to the success of the team throughout that period. So, it's a really special achievement. And as I said, I'm sure it's something we'll reflect back on in due course.
Jim and Charu, they have tied a significant record. They're a well-oiled unit, and they keep coming up with new players who perform. Jim, Annabelle Sutherland being a case in point.
Yes, it looks as though they've got some depth to their side, as you mentioned, with those absentees in the final game, and they had a rollicking victory. When you look at that Australian side, there'll be teams thinking, how can we stop this juggernaut? Well, I think probably the only way, apart from catching everything that moves and bowling brilliantly and the rest of it, is to get a very, very slow pitch. Any pitch that's got a bit of pace in it, Australia's batting, I think, is just unstoppable, because they've got a lot of power and a lot of improvisation in their batting, particularly if Alyssa Healy gets going. So at the moment, Australia, particularly in conditions like that, with the ball coming onto the bat, they're going to be very hard to stop. And it's a wonderful achievement. And as I mentioned last week, you could easily say at the moment, the two most popular sporting teams in Australia are the women's cricket team and the soccer team, the Matildas. And that says a fair bit about the development of those two sports, particularly in this country. And Australia is playing in another zone to everyone else.
Well, without question. I think you mentioned Alyssa Healy, and all fans of Indian women's cricket will remember how she took the Indian attack apart the last time they played. She just kept jumping out to everything, and everything she hit was right in the middle of the bat. So that was a very special innings. But of course, Australia have had a traditional, should we say, superiority over most other women's cricketing teams or most of the sporting teams. But I also wonder if, and of course, this is a shorter form of the game, but whether the WBBL, starting Australia first and creating so much churn within the Australian women where lots of youngsters could get opportunities, is also responsible for keeping that standard very high and keeping a very good supply of talent coming through time and again. So yes, some players are missing, as you said, in that match, but yet they have so much in reserve that really, other teams are going to find it very difficult to get that kind of reserve going. I know for India, because we don't have a vibrant domestic women's cricket scenario or a tour, the number of women coming through is very limited compared to Australia. So how are we ever going to catch up?
From the BBC World Service, this is Stumped on All India Radio.
Next on Stumped, to an unexpected star of the English cricketing summer.
An umpire Gough, who's had a pretty good game, did respond, and the technology backed him up.
Yeah, what I liked about Michael Gough there, the umpire, is that he took his time, and it's a brilliant decision. But I think Michael Gough would have just assessed, right, it's hit him in line, it's not certainly going to be going over the top, and he just waited, and then his finger went up. I thought that was brilliant umpiring.
Oh, just clipping the bails.
I'm going to go back to Michael on field. Michael, you can stay with your original decision. You're on camera now.
Good decision, that, for me.
Yes, it's umpire Michael Gough. We often don't celebrate umpires enough, but his remarkable accuracy on DRS calls and calmness under pressure during the international summer here in England earned him plaudits from players, commentators and fans alike. And he's with us now on Stumped. Michael, good to see you, which we can on our screen here. Welcome, how are you doing?
Yes, very well, thanks, Alison. How are you?
Great, I'm well. We last saw each other in the car park of the BioBubble Hotel. Have you had a good break? And how many days did you rack up in total?
All in all, I think the time spent in the bubble as well was about 70 or 80 nights for me, in between obviously Manchester and Southampton. So yeah, a lot of time fenced in. Doing umpiring the matches, and a lot of time in between trying to fill in the gaps and find something to do.
What we heard in that clip there was praise for you from the likes of Michael Vaughan and Phil Tufnell. And here's why. Okay, so since 2018, and we don't often talk about umpires in pure numbers like this, but since 2019, you are the only umpire with a correct rate of more than 90% on DRS calls in tests. Your success rate is 92.54, with the next best being Kumar Dharmasena at 78.75, so quite way ahead of that, and then Ian Gould at 77.35. Firstly, yes, those numbers might need a little more explaining to the lay people because we don't often talk about umpires, in those terms. But yeah, you are measured and rated. We want to know what your secret is.
There's a lot of lucky guesses in there, that's for sure.
You're not meant to say that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I guess it's like it comes back from my playing career. I never really got the best out of myself as a player. Didn't really work hard enough. Didn't really dedicate myself enough to my profession. And when I was fortunate enough again to get into umpiring and the world of officialdom, I just wanted to make sure that I give myself the very, very best chance to succeed and do well at this level. Little things such as fitness is a big thing for me, especially in lockdown now. I've started doing a lot more running. Obviously, you can concentrate longer, don't feel as tired at the end of the day. Just feel as though all my senses are a lot clearer. Vision, sound, little things like that, and just feel more relaxed on the crease. Communication skills, again, with the players, that's key. If you can feel relaxed around the players and they can feel relaxed around you, it helps you within that environment. So there's certainly a lot of things that help me to perform when I'm on the field. I tend to do a lot of eye exercises as well. Obviously, probably the most important things to an umpire, your eyes and your ears. So again, trying to make sure that the little things like the ears are always clean so I can hear. The eyes, the muscles in the eyes. I do a lot of work with eye muscles throughout the day, just to give myself every single chance. And as probably some people would say, the little 1%ers can make so much of a difference. So I don't think it's anything special. It's just a case of just trying to work hard as I possibly can to do myself and the game justice.
So what is your thought process when you've got a decision to make? And it's got to come quickly. Is it different? And I suppose, do we need to take sort of one example of a particular decision, say an LB? I mean, you haven't got long, but what is that thought process?
The first process for me is sometimes, because I can't really gauge the depth of a batsman when he's coming down the pitch. Some things you've just got to try and gauge all the aspects of what's happening. You just got to give yourself a little bit of time. And I always find that, if I give myself a little bit of time and not rush into it, generally, 9 times out of 10, I'm right. Sometimes if I don't go with my gut feeling, at the end of the over, I'll go a square leg and probably kick the heels a bit and, give myself a little bit of self-talk and think, everybody makes mistakes, on to the next one and make sure that I try and get that decision right.
Michael, yes, well done. You've had a tremendous run there. I don't know how you keep up the concentration. It's very uplifting for those of us who just do the occasional game to see someone focus as well as that. So just tell us what it was like umpiring without a crowd this summer. Did that make it easier to focus on your decision-making?
It was quite weird, Jim, in the respect that, very strange to walk out on the field and to have nobody there. The little things, when you walk out into a crowd, especially in international cricket, especially the grounds around England, people are having fun. So obviously the noise levels go up through the day. So when you're walking out onto the field, it was very, very strange that the fact that there was literally just silence. And little things of like being able to hear the cameramen on the gantries talking to each other, the people, the camera, the people in the crowds with the cameras, for the media, you could hear the shutters of the cameras all the time. The little conversations of people just walking around the ground, you could hear the coaches and the players on the balcony. Little things that you would never sort of appreciate or probably experience, especially in an international game. So when you were out on the field, it was very strange, but I guess like any professional, as it's proved, obviously in this summer, that, as soon as the players, they cross the white line, they're there to do a job. And I think everybody was just so keen to get back out and play cricket after such a long period of time away. Yeah, it was strange, but I think we were just all obviously appreciative and thankful that we were back out there playing and being involved.
Hi, Michael. This is Charu Sharma from Bangalore. Good to be speaking to you. For whatever it's worth, whenever I speak on cricket, I say there are 2 jobs I would never take for any kind of money. That's umpiring and being a selector, because you can just never, ever get it absolutely right. So, good luck, and obviously well done so far. Now, for the on-field umpire, Michael, things are getting, in a sense, easier. Responsibilities are being taken away. For instance, now the no ball and earlier the run-outs and so on and so forth. So 2 things here. One, what would you suggest next in terms of, perhaps a reduction in the responsibility of an on-field umpire? And 2, are you happy with this trend, or do you think something essential is being taken away from on-field umpires?
You listen to the arguments around the world, and I think when we're out, I think the most important thing that people don't see is the way that that some of the best umpires in the world manage these matches as well. Let's not forget these games are there to be managed amongst players. There's some obviously very high-profile cricketers who, when they get out in the field, can be quite emotional as well, and sometimes that's not picked up on the field. So I think for a lot of people, they don't see is that some of the guys can manage these games very, very well. You look at the review system now. Obviously, we've had an increase in reviews this summer due to using non-neutral umpires. So there is obviously more chances for umpires' decisions to be overturned and batsmen not to be given out or out, whatever it will be. But again, it's not a decision that we can make. We can only just go out there and do what we've been told to do. I'd like to think that that the best umpires will rise to the top and officiate the best games moving forward. But again, I can't control what they decide moving forward about the umpires that they'll use for different series. So for me, it's just a case of doing the best that I can at the moment in time and hopefully keep getting decisions right.
Michael, it's been fascinating to chat to you and to hear your views on so many aspects. And congratulations on the year that you've had, and keep doing what you're doing, and good luck certainly moving forward, wherever your next assignment might be.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. And really enjoy listening to your show. So thanks again. Take care.
From the BBC World Service, this is Stumped on All India Radio.
Before we finish up, I've got something else I need to share with you both as well, and our listeners, because now this isn't the first time that we've mentioned guitar playing from this particular cricketer and singing on Stumped, but it's the first time we're going to play any. This is the former Australia captain, Steve Smith. He's been staving off boredom in his IPL hotel room by playing the guitar and singing, and he recorded himself and put it on social media. Prepare your ears for this.
I've never seen Venice or slow dance on the Paris nights. Never stood by the pyramids or hiked up the Great Divide. I've never been to Times Square to celebrate the New Year, and I've never seen Willie Nelson live. If I never get to, that's alright. I've seen you with your hair down and your bare feet dancing around the living room.
Wow.
Well, there you go. You're
incredible.
He's a poor man's Bob Dylan. He's got a bit of work to do. No, like, come on.
Well, he did admit that.
Keep working with you, Ali. Do a duet.
Where's AB? AB de Villiers can help him out, surely. He can't be far away.
Well, he can do both.
It is a Bob Dylan sound, isn't it? Of sorts.
Yeah, I can't exactly recognise the song, but do you know, I watched it, and the first time I'd seen him sing and play, I thought, oh no, don't do it. And then this time, you know, I just thought, good on him, because, you know, he's a bit like me. Like, I'm never going to sing in public, but I love playing my guitar and singing. And he just looked like he's doing it because he loves it. And so, heck, he's going to share it. And I thought, in the end, good on him.
Why not? And good on you too, Alison. Share it on Stumped and everywhere else. I mean,
no one needs to be subject to that.
Come on, guys. It was a fabulous little piece by Steve. Good on him.
From the BBC World Service, this is Stumped on All India Radio.
Well, that's it for this week's Stumped here on All India Radio. Don't forget you can tweet us. We're at BBCWS Sport using the hashtag BBC Stumped. Thanks to my co-hosts, Charu Sharma and Jim Maxwell, and to you for listening. Join us again next time. Bye-bye.
Stumped is a BBC sport production for the BBC World Service in association with the Australian Broadcasting Corporation and All India Radio.